But I think
no, D-Mac, it's Stanley Cup Finals or bust right now.
You know what?
People are more disciplined. They're thinking more defense.
We know that
we
call it the Chinese fire drill.
Yeah.
Right? But it's how quick you can put the light out. The game's cyclical. You know, the game's cyclical. So the 1-3-3 is the preferred choice by most successful teams.
Even though Larkin's the captain, slapping him on the back of the head like, come on, we got to stay with the zone.
Steve Yzerman's the most patient person in Michigan.
We do have to talk about this because what was the one thing I clamored for, T? What did I want one time with one of these teams? Can we play from ahead? Right?
Yes.
Can we play from ahead?
You did clamor about that, and it looks like one club is doing that in town.
Your Detroit Red Wings, a couple of victories over the weekend.
Oh, by the way, the Wings have more wins in one weekend than the Lions do after a month and a half. How about that?
It's all it took was about 28 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's all it took to get 2 wins for the Red Wings. But they are back home. And look, it wasn't easy per se. They had a back-to-back. They had to go on the road. But they got the job. They found a way, man. They found a way. And D-Mac, your Detroit Red Wings, my Detroit Red Wings.
Ours.
Detroit Red Wings sitting there at the top of the Atlantic Division, tied with the Bruins and the Florida Panthers. I know we're 2 games in, but here we are.
Well, let's pump the brakes a little bit, but I think
no, D-Mac, it's Stanley Cup Finals or bust right now.
You know what you're seeing, right? And having this conversation with Fish earlier and stuff like this because he was excited. But the fact is, you're seeing an NHL hockey team. I think what you're seeing is really the free agents that have been acquired, from the Sherratts to the Matas to the Perrons to Andrew Kopp. What are you seeing, Neil? Seeing more puck possession, face-offs?
Face-off wins!
Stuff like that. What I'm seeing is a unit. The unit. In the past, when things would get disheveled, right, it would continue to go in that sort of experience. Now it seems what Derek Lalonde, 1-1-3, 1-1-3, 1-1-3, but they're playing together. They're playing with a lot of speed, the size line of Sundqvist, Rasmussen, and
Redwoods.
Soderblom,
I like
the
that.
size line. I like that.
Yeah.
And stuff like this. Now, your boy Zadina is going to get in the lineup tonight.
So no Verana, I'm seeing in the WoodwardSports.com chat.
And I guess Bert's out 4 to 6. Upper body.
Is that what it is?
Took one off the
so
wrist,
that'll be that'll be interesting because you're gonna slide Suter in the lineup, but what are you gonna? You're not gonna slide him in first line. You're probably gonna move Kubalik up. I'm waiting to hear from our boy Mike Gentry to see what you might get. And you have NHL players like you. The same conversation we're having about the Lions or whatever, and you look at that Red Wings team and look at NHL team. Doesn't mean wins and losses, don't get ahead of ourselves, but what we've built to this next point, you're seeing this next level. Guys in the back were asking me about who's going to be the starting goalie. Is it Husso or Ned? I think it's a rotating conversation to these guys.
Yeah, I'm more Team Husso, but that's just me.
No, I think that he gets the opportunity, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see a guy home and away. I don't think you're going to see the traditional goal. You're going to play here, you're going to play there, starter backup. I think it's like 1A, 1B, but they both find out where they both play well. I'd be interested in the conversation. I'm do goaltenders like playing in different arenas? Do they like playing against different teams? That can be the case. So what you saw over the weekend is they did what they needed to do, but I like it because of the team aspect and the little things, right? Killing penalties, scoring power play goals, face-offs, hits. First period of the season, 25 shots on net, right? If it wasn't, for Jake Allen and net for Montreal, it was a different game. But the resilience and the stick-to-itiveness, right? Because usually in the past when you're inexperienced, right, you're gonna shoot your shot with all your power, and then you're going to be spent, and then that's usually when momentum. Ice and hockey leans both ways, right? The momentum. That's not what's happening. It's perseverance. Elmer Soderblom getting the first goal of the season, sort of apropos to everything else. So, big game again tonight. Got to go back to work. It's putting them together. We're gonna have conversations. What's wrong with the Wings this year during the week? But to get off to the start they wanted, I don't think they could have drawn it up any better. And to me, right? It starts with Steve Eisman, but give Derek Lalonde a lot of credit because of coming in, knowing what was needed, the direction, because to me it's the message, and the guys are playing hard.
T, what about
it's the
this?
message, and he's also got them better organized than in previous years so far.
And that shows too. What about this though, T? Because I wanted to run this by you in particular, because you've seen it all. As I talked yesterday about the bye week for the Lions and going around the NFL and how that kind of bothered me about the situation with the Lions.
Right.
What about this team, this Red Wings team? I think put a little fuel on the fire for me personally with that too, because I saw them. They showed us. You know what I'm saying? They won games. It was really wild. Do you think that am I like every person out there, T, where that adds to my aggravation because the Red Wings are doing it? They gave the pound of flesh. They got rid of Blashill. Derek Lalonde comes in here, and he looks like he's tightened things up, as you said.
Right. But the Wings, for years, have been a real organization. Even when they've slumped. I mean, they made the playoffs 25, 26 years in a row. They know what it takes to get back on that horse. And Steve Eisman, a guy that, if you want to criticize him, criticize him for being too patient, but that's the way to go. You don't get off flippant and make goofy moves. Now, you notice the Wings are playing some defense, and how did he start building this team? From the goal out. In other words, you're not going to score a bunch of goals on us anymore. Hopefully you don't see the 10-goal and 11-goal explosions that you saw last season. People are more disciplined. They're thinking more defense. Getting hit in the chest with pucks, and they're okay with that.
I see a couple things in the chat, where you understand, and I love it because you're watching, where you see why Ben Sherratt is so loved by team coaches and GMs, and maybe not the analytics giant. Like certain guys, you throw different things out because definitely he's made this team bigger. He's made this team tougher, right? Not that they had to be because he loves it, and that's sort of leadership. To Terry's point right there, Coach Lalonde came out, said we got to take care of our own end, and that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing that Chinese fire drill. You're not seeing the fact. I don't have the fear right now of Toronto coming in and putting up 3 or 4 goals in the third period, or just embarrassing us at home. I think you're putting a team together now.
Yeah, I'm not to that yet, D-Mac. Like Saturday night, I was sitting there thinking,
no, it could. Right? No, but that's the whole thing. You're gonna have that. We know that we call it the Chinese fire drill.
Yeah.
Right. But it's how quick you can put the light out. Right now, yes, Michael Gentry, our Woodward Sports intrepid hockey reporter, has said that Dominic Kubalik will be on the first line with Raymond and Larkin, and I think look for them to do something tonight. That and you got a guy like that. We don't mention him when we mention the free agents, but he could be the shining star in the back, pure goal scorer, a guy that can play up and down the lineup. Real quick, somebody asked me something about the left wing lock. We don't play the left wing lock here now. That was back in when you could hold people up. And the left wing lock pretty much is the center and the left winger are responsible, one of them, for taking the left lane so that the left defenseman can move into the middle of the ice, right defenseman take the boards. Now, me as a right winger, I had no responsibility except chase the puck, chase guys around. The difference with the grind line is Scotty allowed us to work as 3, so I could technically be on the left wing lock. That's what made us, because we had 3 guys intertwining as opposed to 2. Now with the 1-3-3, it's similar, but it's more skating. So you have the one guy pushing into the 2 guys, but it allows your defenseman, your left defenseman that's in the middle of the ice, to cheat back and go get the puck a little earlier. When you have guys like a Mo Sider or a Ben Sherratt or guys like this, Ali Mata, that can get back there with extra time, that's what you need in this league, then they can turn around and get their heads up and out of your zone early. So it's different. The left wing lock worked because you could hold guys up. And guys we used to water ski. I could use my stick, guy would go by, I'd hook him with my stick and stuff like that. Different game. So the game's cyclical. The game's cyclical. So the 1-3-3 is the preferred choice by most successful teams in the NHL, especially playoff time.
Yeah, and there was a couple moments they even saw. Mickey and Ken Daniels both said it. Like Larkin wanted to go in there. Larkin wanted to go in there and chase that, but he's like, no, I gotta stay back. I gotta stay in the zone, stay in the 1-3-3, be disciplined, and it's stuff like that that's learning. That's just making them a better team. They're getting more disciplined. I'm sure, like you said, with the veteran guys like the Perron, you bring him. Perron's probably, even though Larkin's the captain, slapping him on the back of the head, like, come on, we gotta stay with the zone. Stay with the scheme. And it's working out.
This
so
is
far.
this is
you brought up
wild.
a great point, Spence. Right? Because here's how systems work. It ain't the coach preaching down your throat, do this, do that. It's your accountability to your guys on the side. And when you got the leader, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You saw exactly what I said about watch Dylan Larkin's maturation as a leader, right? That's because if I'm on the bench and I know that this is the message that's going to be preached, and I see my captain, my centerman do that, right? I got to make sure I do that even more in my head. So they may overdo it, and maybe this time it's I'm going to err on the side of caution. You be more cautious, but it goes back to what you said, Terry. Steve Eisman's the most patient person in Michigan.
But and you mentioned Dylan Larkin. He wanted to go in there, but he knew that wasn't his job. When you talk about the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, who I still think is going to be fine, he's trying to do too much. He's playing himself outside of his lanes. He's going in where he shouldn't. He's getting trapped.
You only say that because he played at Michigan.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, that's where he learned it.
Hey, both things can be true.
You